Today, we're diving into a classic Bengali folktale called The Foolish Wife's Meat Curry. And trust me, it's one of those stories that's both hilarious and actually pretty deep once you get into it.
Right off the bat, we're jumping straight into the drama with this quote from our main guy, Ratan. I mean, wow. Have I struck my own forehead with an axe? You can just feel how fed up he is. This pretty much sets the stage for the entire story. So you have to ask, what on earth did his wife do to make him feel this way?
Okay, so let's set the scene. We've got Ratan, a hardworking guy, and his wife, who, in his eyes, is just hopelessly foolish. Their big problem? They are constantly, and I mean constantly, misunderstanding each other.
So, the story kicks off with a situation we can all relate to, right? Ratan gets home after a super long day working in the fields, and he is starving. We're not talking just a little peckish. We're talking that deep, I haven't eaten all day kind of hunger. And this, right here, is where the trouble starts.
This brings us to the absolute core of their problem. See, Ratan tends to speak in figures of speech, using metaphors. But his wife? She takes every single word he says literally. And that gap between what he means and what she hears, well, that's where all the chaos comes from. So, in his hunger, Ratan dramatically says, "Mice are running in my stomach." Now, you and I know that just means I'm really hungry. But his wife hears this and she completely panics. She thinks there are actual mice in his stomach. So what does she do? She grabs a big stick to hit his stomach and kill the mice inside. You can just imagine Ratan's face, just completely stunned by this. All right, so hoping to just move on from the whole mouse incident, Ratan decides to try again. He goes out to the market, buys this beautiful big rohu fish, and he's just dreaming of this amazing spicy fish curry. He gives his wife what he thinks are some pretty simple instructions for cooking it.
And here we go again. Ratan tells her to cook the fish by watching it carefully. What he means is, tend to it, add the spices, make sure it doesn't burn. But she hears, watch it carefully, and takes that as her one and only job. So she puts the fish in a pot of plain water and just stares at it intently as it boils.
So what gets served? A plate of plain, unseasoned, boiled fish. And Ratan just explodes. His dream of a delicious meal is completely gone, replaced by this bland, watery mess. And that is the final straw for him. Yep. The boiled fish incident. That was the breaking point. All that frustration that had been building up inside Ratan about his wife's foolishness, it just boils over, and it leads him to make a really drastic decision.
He just can't take it anymore. He completely loses it, yells at her and tells her to just go back to her family. He feels like he just cannot live with her and her maddening misunderstandings for one more day. And just like that, she's gone.
But you know how it is. After a few days, the anger starts to fade away, and it's replaced by something totally different, a quiet, heavy loneliness. The house is just empty, and Ratan starts to think, maybe, just maybe, his frustration made him miss something really important. And this is the question that starts to eat at him. I mean, sure, he's free from all the misunderstandings, but he's also free from any kind of companionship. He starts to realize he misses her a lot more than he ever thought he would. The real turning point comes on this cold, miserable, rainy day. Ratan's all alone, and he's hit with this massive craving for a rich, warm, hearty meal. A delicious meat curry, to be exact. And in that moment, he knows exactly who he wants to share that meal with. He swallows his pride and decides he has to go get her and bring her back home. So Raman makes the journey to his in-laws' house, probably not sure what he's going to say or how he'll be received. But what he finds there is about to completely change everything he thought he knew about his wife. A hidden talent is about to come to light. He gets there, soaked from the rain, and his wife greets him, and with no drama, no fuss, she just brings him a bowl of food to warm him up. And what is it? It's the very same meat curry he was just craving, and she tells him she made it herself.
Ratan takes a bite, and he is just blown away. It's not just good. It's incredible. It's probably the most delicious thing he has ever tasted in his life. The flavors are perfect, the meat is so tender, he's in total disbelief. How could his foolish wife create something this magical?
So what's the secret? How did she do it? Well, Ratan asks his mother-in-law, and the answer is so simple it's brilliant. His wife is an amazing cook, but only when she's left alone to do her thing. See, when he gives her all these specific, confusing instructions, she gets flustered and just follows them to the letter, which, of course, leads to disaster. And right there, that's the real lesson of the story. It was never about her being foolish. It was about a total mismatch in the way they communicated. The story is really asking us to look past our first impressions of how people think or act.
So let's just break down these takeaways because they're really good. First, what he saw as a weakness, her taking things literally, was actually hiding a huge strength, her amazing intuitive cooking skill. Second, it's a huge reminder that words aren't one size fits all. They mean different things to different people, which leads to the third point. A real partnership is about accepting someone for who they are, not trying to force them to be like you. And finally, and this is a big one, sometimes the best way you can help someone is to just get out of their way.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. Ratan almost lost his wife and his happiness because he was so fixated on this one thing he saw as a flaw. It really makes you wonder, right? How often do we do that in our own lives? We might write someone off because of one little quirk, and in doing so, we might be totally missing out on their hidden, incredible talents. It's definitely something to think about.